Another week, you and me getting bigger by the day
I love the
here.
I love my Ferrigno fit hoodie.
Yeah, girl. Focus, invest, and take action with what you want in your life. That is what fit means to me mentally.
There you go.
And physically. Hi, Vivi.
Hi.
Girl.
I know. I love looking at you, Prego.
Really?
Yes.
You look great. I can't wait to get here afterward. Self-care after.
We're still working on it, folks. We still got a long way to go. I haven't even jumped on the horse yet again, but I need to
For what?
work out.
Oh, well, it's COVID, too. So it's it's very hard.
But people have been like, they got to do something while they're stuck at home. So they've been working out, and I just haven't. So I
saw
need to.
a condemned Walmart, and this guy was doing the most amazing workout routine in the front of the condemned Walmart. Oh no, Kmart.
Oh.
I was like, wow. He was jumping up because it was all closed down.
Was he doing parkour stuff?
Yes. I was like,
Oh.
why to do a
Crazy.
workout?
Crazy.
As I was eating my tacos.
You're like, okay.
Okay, that's a good one for the 6 months from now. Not now. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so today's kind of a heavy topic a little bit, but I
Yes.
think it should be an informative one as well.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Today we're talking about sexual consent. You came up with a lot of these, which I think are really great, right?
Yeah.
And I did a lot of research behind it,
But we were thinking, stuff pops in your mind. And when I was thinking
Yeah.
about the second season, I figured these are great things that we talk about all the time, actually. And I just figured, let's chat about it
yeah.
and put it out to everybody else. So here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you were thinking about sexual consent, what were you thinking about? The blurred lines or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's strange. It's me actually talking with my nieces, and they're at the age now where they're figuring it out. They're early 20s and, going through all their experiences with relationship with themselves, with the others, what that means. And it's very different now than what I remember it to be, obviously because of social media and different kind of pressures today that just didn't exist when we were in our 20s. I mean, there are the universal ones, right? Of just the other sex and and work and figuring out who you are and all that kind of thing. And then also to having the baby and being asking myself as a new parent, well, how am I going to handle, and just trying to be prepared, looking ahead, how do you handle these topics and these questions? And you don't wait until they're old enough or whatever,
Right.
what you start to learn as a parent is that you start these things very young, and they start to learn these things. So it's innate in them. And as they get older, then they learn, you have a no zone talk. And then as they get older, you go, oh, that's a stranger. This is a person. No, this is, you can touch me here. You can't touch me here, or whatever. You know what I mean? Those type of, but it graduates that conversation. So it's always just a part of how they think, and you develop them as a parent.
I was on a blog, and this woman, I don't know what her problem was, but she was like, I'm so sick of naming my son's parts a penis and my daughter's part a vagina.
Yeah.
I call them, cookies or, little stuff. And a lot of women gave her backlash and was like, well, let me tell you a story. You don't say... You need to teach them what the anatomy is, because if sexual abuse does happen, and one woman had a story about how her friend of hers, she always would call her daughter's vagina a cookie, and she would go to the teacher and say, my uncle is licking my cookie. And she tried to reach out, this 5-year-old, and I think she was 4 or 5, and she was saying, my uncle licks my cookie. And the teacher was like, oh, he does? Oh, your cookie. Okay. Instead of what it really was, which was sexual abuse.
Yeah, that's, so I'm part of a Mommy and Me, and that was one of the, Mommy and Me group. And in those groups, you talk about certain development places where your child is. It helps you parents, also kind of support group thing. They're really great. And one of them was about that, and babies naturally will get curious about their anatomy, their parts. Little boys will start playing with their little penises, and girls with vaginas or their thing, and they just because they're like, oh my god, what is this?
Yeah, I still do that sometimes.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, okay.
And it's healthy. You should.
Yes, it's your body.
And so, but they tell you, yeah, you shouldn't, because predators often use names for those things. So if the child knows, no, this is my penis.
Yes.
You can't touch my penis. This is okay, not, and what's okay touch and not okay touch, like all those things, then they're educated in how they have their own self-autonomy. You're teaching them how to be in charge of their bodies as well,
Right.
And when you think about it that way, especially where a predator is involved, you go, oh my God, yes. Because how many people do you know that have had that? I mean, I think my lucky stars that I'd never been in a circumstance where that happened to me, could have, but I knew to be like, whoa.
Right.
And that was just an inherent thing. So
thank God. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're educated in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know. And it's like, I know a lot of mothers on these blogs, especially I've been reading so many things. Very fascinating. People's opinions. But some things I took of it was, some mothers will go out of their way to be like, I'm going to touch your vagina right now, or I'm going to touch your penis right now. Is that okay? And kind of, because like parents, I don't know. I'll probably be guilty of it.
Can I change your diaper now? I'm going to change your diaper.
Right. I'm going to touch your penis. I don't know if I'm going to be like that. I'm going to say, hey, I'm your mom and this is important. And, but I don't know if I'm going to be asking permission from my 2-year-old nonstop. I'm not sure. Some people, they've been affected by sexual abuse. So they really, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Really to ask and be okay with it. But a lot of mothers have said that they really go out of their way to do that. So I think that's a good starting point, because, you got to keep your hands to yourself, teach kids certain things. You don't just touch each other's private parts and name it what it is. I feel like,
well, there's a way of dealing with your kids. I mean, what helps a lot, and they do it, they tell you to do it a lot now, is narrating, because I mean, especially when you have a baby who doesn't have language yet, but they're going to learn it. They're going to expect, you expect them to be able to vocalize eventually, but they're learning from listening to you.
Right.
So, when he's laughing, you're laughing, you love that, it's just part of the narration of stuff. And so, when you say asking, hey, can I change your diaper now? That could be part of the narration. It helps them. But it also helps you to be like, okay, you need to lay down now because we're doing the diaper thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it helps in that way. Because right now, Apollo just is anti-diaper change. And I'm like, dude, stop it.
Stop it. It's funny because my mom, well, this isn't funny, but my mom was, men were always trying to touch her as a child, and came from alcoholic backgrounds and, just all of that. So she was so extra with me about, you don't sleep in a bed with a boy unless you really are okay to have sex with him. You don't do certain things. And it's like, I've talked about this in the past where I'm not quote unquote in the Me Too movement per se. However, that's why I think this is interesting with sexual consent. I've had things happen. I'll tell you a little bit, but I've had things happen to me. However, I had a mother that was over the top. So I had a lot of anxiety with that.
Surrounding that.
Yeah. Where I was like, does that guy want to have sex with me right away? Or is that guy going to attack me? Or,
so she's projecting her own fears onto you.
Right. I never was molested, thank God, because she put that on me. But however, it's weird too, because
but it also gave you a sense of a fear.
It was a fear. It was the opposite, right? So, but also I have a dad that's, 80% hard of hearing, and he's not very cuddly. So when I was getting older, when I was about 14, 15, I would see these little girls on their daddy's laps, 2 years old, kissing them on the mouth. And I thought that was weird, sexual. I thought it was weird because I never grew up like that. Oh. So I was always like, is that okay? So I was kind of the opposite of not knowing.
Right.
Yeah. And then I would have, my favorite show, The Cosby Show on. And my mom, he tried with my mom. Oh, yes,
that's right.
She was the second person. She got out of it. But I remember her being like, that's a predator. I'm like, I'm 12 years old. I'm like, what does that mean? So I learned a lot of this language from, she didn't tell me not to watch it, but, She hated him, obviously.
Yeah, clearly.
I really can't stand him either right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like over the top educated with that, which I found really interesting. But
Interesting.
But definition, yeah.
Because just before
No,
you move on, like,
please.
it's weird because her fears or her experiences were projected onto you, so that translated into fear of the other, of the opposite sex. And so in that period of puberty where you're discovering, just like intimacy, how did that go? Because that kind of
It didn't go.
yeah. But I mean, there's a natural flow to that, discovering that. You kind of have to, there's a healthy way of doing that, from just holding hands to kissing, flirting, affection, like how that's okay. It's not a bad thing.
Right.
So, but it's just a matter of boundaries and understanding what they are, and when you're ready and all
Right,
that,
on point.
and having that conversation. But because she did that and you had that, how did that affect that process for you? And then into your 20s when you are sexually active.
Oh, not great. I always was in control of most of my relationships for that, because I knew that they couldn't hurt me, because I was always nervous that I didn't know how to do the flirting. I still don't know how to flirt. I don't know how, I know how to like tell you I know, like, I'm serial-monogamous a lot of times.
There's still awkwardness there from,
yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. It kind of it got me to trust my gut a lot with men, like to get to know them as well. But I'm not very good at.
But are you predisposed to thinking negatively about men then because of that?
No, I don't. I really, and I love guys. Like, I love them.
Sure.
However, I also grew up with, I became friends with them first, right? So then I would hear them, we all have a friend in common too, that I have a lot of womanizing friends, guys that are womanizer. And some of you guys are like, how the hell are you friends with them? It made me so that I got close to the guys, never was sexual with them. But then I'd hear the stories of them having sex with other women. And then I would be like.
And the way they talked about it.
Yeah. And then I would be like, oh, hell no. So it kind of validated that for me to be like.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good with staying on the sidelines a lot.
Right.
Trying to be in control. However, with my husband now, I've matured because I'm not the we're both very strong, and I've learned a lot of intimacy through both of us being strong and negotiate, and that comes with age. But no, I've not been good at intimacy. I've never I've tried to be, but I think that from the beginning has taught me, like, keep them, that when I say I'm not part of the Me Too movement, I don't mean to brag like, oh, I'm not part. No, it's more of like, I've always been extra cautious and anxiety ridden from not men entirely, just, it's not men entirely. It's just the intimacy of the sexual consent and the boundaries. And I get fearful. I think I was fearful young that they would cross that line.
Right. But now with your husband, you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable so that you can discover what that softness is.
Yes. He beats it out of me emotionally sometimes, which is good. He's like, come on, Sean. And I'm like, okay, because I trust that enough. You're a serial monogamous. I don't understand how these women go from man to man. I don't know how you get intimate and you go from a person to nonstop.
Yeah, no, I don't get that either.
I don't work like that.
It's too complicated.
And how do you get really real and vulnerable and all?
But I think that's the reason why. So you don't have to.
Yeah.
If in thinking of the womanizing men friends that we have.
Yeah. And I don't have a dad that's a womanizer.
No.
Which is interesting. But he's 80% hard of hearing, and he's very unavailable. As available as he is, he's very unavailable. Never, like I said, never sat on his lap, never would come up and give him kisses. I don't know what that's like.
I had affection. So I would nap on his lap and things like that. We hug and just hold hands, or, I had that. So it was really, I don't know. It was just really good to have, but I knew the boundary, you know what I mean? You can't do that with just everybody.
Right.
You had to earn that, so.
No, of course.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, of course. That's sweet. But boundaries, that's what I wrote, Vanessa. Very good. So Planned Parenthood has this fries analogy, which I thought was really interesting. And so fries stands for, F stands for freely given, which is no pressure, manipulation. And then R is reversible. So anyone can change their mind when it comes to sexual consent. So even if you're lying in a bed, I asked my husband this question. I said, have you ever been in bed with a girl, you know, obviously before me, have you ever been in bed with a girl and you guys are naked or something? And then she's like, no. And if she said no, you know, what would you do? And he's like, well, yeah, of course I would stop. Like, are you kidding? But he's like, I've never had that problem. I was like, of course you've never had that problem, you handsome, you handsome man, you. But yeah, like that's a big one. Anyone can change their mind, and you know, even naked, it doesn't matter. Halfway through, yes. And then that's R. And then informed is you have to be informed. Like, are there going to be condoms? Like, really know what you're getting into, you know, and really having that conversation.
Communicating that's communicating the boundary right there.
Exactly. Yeah. And then E is enthusiastic. So you should want to be intimate, right? Be excited about it. And then S is specific. Making out doesn't mean sex. It doesn't mean that you bought me dinner and I just.
Well, like you said, on the first date with Tough, you were like, I'll sleep with you tonight, but you'll never see me again.
It's true.
And that was just boom, right there. What you going to do with it? Especially when you're getting to know each other. I mean, these are good ways of learning each other.
And I liked him enough that I wasn't just going to have sex with him. Because again, going back to me not being good with intimacy, I could have done that and been like, told you. Like, boo. Told you he just wanted sex and then be done. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to manifest that because I really liked him. Because there has been people that I have done that too. But then I was like, you chose that anyway. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I found that really interesting. Now, RAINN. Do you know RAINN organization?
No.
Okay, so that's RAINN. And that is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. And I did not, you got to go on that website. That is fascinating, and it's terrorizing me and my soul at the same time having kids.
That is one of my biggest fears as a woman. Honestly, it is the biggest fear as a woman is rape. I can't even watch it on film or screen or anything. Like that is a huge fear, and I think that is very common with women, period, because it's like it's fear-inducing in the sense that, like, you know, it's a power thing. It has nothing to do with any kind of, and it's never your fault. Like, you know what I mean? I hate those. Yeah, I hate those like insinuations and stuff like that.
Just you wearing a short skirt.
Yeah. No, it's not just men I rape too. So it's like 1,000%. A matter of, and you know, it's just kind of like that's a whole fear thing. Do you ever that movie General's Daughter with John Travolta?
No. I saw that. Oh, no, I don't want to see it.
It's so good, but it's about how this girl. Anyway, watch it. It's so good. But
good rape scene.
It's
Vanessa.
a rape scene in there. Well, I
now.
always have to walk away and go to the bathroom or something during that part when I know it's happening because I'm just like,
I still can't get through 12 Years a Slave. I don't do rape scenes and I don't do slave films. It hurts my soul. I'm just like, I want to beat everybody up. I'm just like, oh my God, like the accused of Jodie Foster. I can't do it.
Oh, no.
I know. That's a true story too.
Yeah, I know. Ooh, no.
But yeah, I was like, I think I've mentioned this before to you, but I had where it goes back to, you know, me not trusting and then going with my gut. I was in an elevator downtown LA. I was going downtown LA when I was 16. I just got my license and I don't deserve to have a car. Okay. I have the worst track record with cars. Okay. But anyway, I got a ticket. I was 16 driving, got this ticket, and they made me do driving school. Sure. And so I went to downtown LA. And my mom was fearful at the time because she was like, this is a young kid going to downtown LA, going to do driving school because they had no more, you know, I had to do it a certain amount of time. I left it last minute. And she was just like.
And you did driving school in downtown?
I had to because it was the last class that I could take because I waited last minute or else there was going to be points on my license.
Right.
So I went down there. It was the rickety old building. It was weird. And so they were like, okay, you're dismissed for lunch. And I was like, wait. My mom talked to you guys and they said that they're like, I could get lunch up here, whatever. Cause I just didn't want to leave. It was just a bad, downtown LA in the
especially
90s.
then too now. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
So, and I'm young, I don't know. And so they were like, no, you can go. So I brought a girl with me. I was like, okay, little
buddy system. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know her, but I was like, let's do it. We went to McDonald's, closest thing across the street. And then I came back and the elevators opened. And it was these two Hispanic guys, small. And the first thing I thought was, they're smaller than me in case I have to take them. Like, why is that the first thought that goes in my mind?
Because women are trained to always look behind them if they're by themselves. Or at night, always have that eye behind you. I know that's my dad's voice in my head being like, never walk alone. If you do, always make sure you know what's up in your back and you listen.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
And then I felt something with them. And I only say that they were Hispanic because I decided to go in the elevator, even though everything in me, I don't know if you've ever had a moment like this where you're just like, you freeze. And I don't freeze. I'm not socially awkward.
You're not,
I'm just like, I just froze. But I was like, they're going to think I'm racist if I don't go in the elevator.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So I go in the elevator, come with the girl, and they fucking stopped the elevator. It was one of those old school elevators. They stopped it. I had a pager at the time, and she was screaming. They started like sexually violating her, taking like down her pants. Like it was,
no,
I don't know exactly what happened because I was in my own chaos at the time. I was on the right-hand side. She was on the left.
What'd they do?
Well, he started like grabbing at me, and then, you know me, I just started I had to. She caved in from what I saw on the side, and I tried to fight her battle too. And it's a small elevator, but and it was so weird to go, I knew this was going to happen. This was crazy. And so we're just punching I take off my shoe. I start beating him. And I'm telling you, if this guy was like 6 something, like
then it would have been a thing.
It would have been a thing. So we start pushing and it starts going. And then the last thing I remember is no purse, no pager. They're gone. The elevator's back and I'm bleeding. And she's like her shit's torn, like her outfit, everything. Now, the craziest thing about all of this was that no cops were called. Like my mom was just like, come home. Are you okay?
Wait.
Come home.
You were going up to the driving school. So you had to go to the driving school.
We started going up and then we never went back up. We went down. Okay. So I had all my purse. I had everything on me. I had no key, nothing. And she was like, come home. And I was like, oh what? My God. Yeah.
So they robbed your stuff and then they had nothing.
They took my pager, nothing. Called a cab. We didn't have Uber back then.
Yeah, payphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got there. And then that was it. And I don't think her stuff got stolen, but she got her clothes ripped and everything. It was bad. Like I never talked to her again and she just left. And then I got in a cab. My mom paid it. She's like, are you okay? But you know what the weirdest thing is? Not once did I think call the cops. Why? She called the driving school afterward and reamed them out and said my daughter wasn't supposed to go down and have lunch and all that. Yeah. But like, what?
So you didn't call the cop? Nothing.
No, I didn't even think about it.
And then it was almost like
I think about this. Like,
and then
this
it was
is the first time I'm
like,
telling a story. Like, like I've been telling a story the last year or so, but like it was when I was 16. Like this is crazy. But why didn't I call the cops? What the hell happened? Isn't that weird? But then I see, because I haven't been talking about it, how it affected me a lot, like with the way that I am, but I didn't even realize it though. It's weird though.
And your mom, well, it's strange that no cops,
but
no
I
nothing,
wasn't physically touched.
Still, it's
sexually.
An assault. It's an assault.
It's a major assault. Yeah.
And you're bleeding, you said.
Well, yeah, because we were ripping at each other. He didn't sexually violate, but he was touching me.
And then.
It's so weird.
And then it was, what did you talk about it ever after that?
Not real. I just was like, I got
push it under the rug. Don't talk about it anymore.
I felt like I won. Is that weird? I literally was like, I won. That motherfucker went down. But he stole my purse and my pager. But I'm like,
but you got out of it. You weren't raped.
But I didn't win.
You didn't. But like, I mean, I could see where maybe you thought the worst didn't happen. Right.
The fuck? Excuse my French.
But that's so crazy. And your parents didn't talk about it afterward, like they just didn't want to deal with it?
No, they would.
Yeah, sure.
They would, but they were like, thank God you got out of that.
Sick, you're alive, good. You're good. Yeah.
I called them and took care of it.
Yeah,
like that won't happen. Like, what? I don't know. Wow. It's just a different day and age, I guess. And then I just kept moving on. I don't know.
True. And that's a
weird.
crazy weird thing about consent, because with a lot of those things.
I did not consent to that.
No.
I'm joking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like in like, oh God, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
You're so
It's
sweet.
so scary.
But you say that and it's like, it's so weird because I'm like.
Yeah, but then you have to, but then life
so
goes on.
I know.
Right? And then you have to live life, but now it's informed, and that's a trauma.
Yeah, I guess it is. It really is when I think about it.
And then you have to, it informs everything else that you're doing.
Yeah.
Trust issues.
Oh, I couldn't get in elevators for a while, but I didn't even think about it. But I didn't victimize it. I just kept going.
No.
Keep going, but then that's not really healthy.
But that's you.
Either.
I mean, obviously it's specific to everybody's
poor girl.
personalities, but
I
what
felt
happened
more
to that
bad.
girl?
I have no idea. I felt worse for the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was like not fighting back. It's just weird in my life. I've just felt like I fought it. I won it. Let's move on. You know what I mean? But I don't really win. I still have things I have to work on.
Right.
You know?
Because
isn't that funny? It's weird. No. Like, oh, I won.
Yeah, but that's like a weird defensive. There's a defensive thingy that, you know, things, again, coping mechanisms that you do in order to get over and past certain things, right? Like you say, you're a fighter.
Yeah.
So you fought.
Yeah.
And you know, that fighting actually helped you.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But like, ay vey. I mean, so see, this is what I'm talking about with like rape and all those type of things. I mean, there's so many situations, and that's why especially women, I think young girls have to kind of be aware. But this is what I also wanted to say about consent. Because you can say yes. There's a lot of scenarios where it's gray, where yes is said, and then they've gone through with it, and then all of a sudden afterward you feel awful, you know. And then and then there's like a reversal of, oh, I shouldn't have said yes, I shouldn't have done that, blah 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 blah. And then there's a blaming happening afterward, and you know, you kind of, how do you deal with that?
Oh, by saying yes, and then you have sex, and then that happens.
And then you feel bad afterward. You have to learn from it, right?
You just have to go, I'm not going to do that next time. Not be angry at it if it was okay. Like if you said no in the middle.
Sure.
In the moment. In the moment. Then that's a violation. That's rape.
100%.
But if you don't feel good afterward, that's a great tool to go. It's kind of like, I don't get in an elevator with just anybody, and I don't give a shit how racist anyone thinks I am.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling it inside my soul, whether I don't care what color, who you are, I don't care. I'm not going in, you know?
Right.
It's like the gift of fear. It's like if I'm a llama and you're a lion, I'm not going to come towards you. I'm going to run. You know what I mean? I'm not running towards the fear.
Right.
But I think you just have to learn from it, not victimize it, and just say, okay, that was a blip on the radar.
Those are learning. Well, those are learning, teaching moments, moments that for you as you go forward. But that's where, you know, consent also kind of plays.
Yeah.
For guys and girls. Because if, you know, same thing, maybe you're getting peer pressure to do stuff you don't want to do. And then all of a sudden you do it, but you felt bad. Yeah. You know, do you blame? Who do you blame at that point? Because many times a lot of people blame because they're not taught to be accountable.
You're right on the nail. That's exactly right. And you have to be accountable. And there's things that, you know, even rape is never.
No. There's no excuse.
However, you can look at the scenario and go, okay, moving forward, I won't go up to that room, or I won't, you know what I mean? Like the choices you make that you didn't realize or educated about enough, you go, oh shit. Like I'm the victim. 1,000%, right? If you get raped, you're going to be the victim.
Yes.
It's never your fault. However, then you can go, okay, instead of that person controlling me for the rest of my life about me feeling like they raped me and my life is over, how can I make sure to live my life, you know, and be sexual again with somebody?
I think that would take a lot of therapy and help and counseling.
I have no idea. I had a client that was in the sex trade. And she has a husband and kids, and she went through so much therapy. And I look at her every day and I'm like, I would never look at a penis again. I could never be with a man. I would hate men. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't even fathom.
God bless her. But
Yeah.
she's done the work. So she, because then they control you.
Sure.
Then whoever your violator is controls you.
So you have to find a way to get the power back.
I don't take the stairs. You know what I mean? I just choose, which elevator I want to go in.
Sure.
Yeah. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care what you look like. No, just don't touch
and then
me.
there's like and some common sense stuff there too that played, right? Your gut, listening to your gut, listening, having your, like my dad used to say, your orange juice smarts.
Your orange, is that what he used to say?
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, you gotta use your orange juice smarts, Vanessa. I mean,
That's cute.
I hate to say it, but it's so true. Like sometimes, like, why did you touch the fire? You knew you were gonna get hot. You know what I mean? Like it's like as simple as that sometimes.
Yeah.
And listening to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then every 73 seconds, according to Rain, an American is sexually assaulted.
Wow.
Every 73 seconds. That's like a minute and a half. That's great. Not even. Mm-mm. And then every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. Okay. I can't even start with that statistic. And only 5 out of 1,000
a lot of that
will end
sexual
up in
trade
prison.
stuff happens when they're kids.
That's
imagine
a
those
different
countries
topic.
where
I
they're
can't even start with
sold
that.
and
No.
Yeah.
No, you just need to die, in my opinion. You touch children, like, where you're done. There's no reforming that. I'm sorry. Like, it's over. No, I'm done. And I don't want my tax dollars going to that. There's no reforming. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry. But yeah, so that's where we are with that. And then I didn't know that these are the only people reported, but I love finding random statistics since we are 81,000 inmates are raped a year.
Yeah. That's what's reported.
That's what's
and I
reported.
think that's low.
Yeah.
A low number.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously.
But can you imagine being in prison, like, and having the guard, like, raping you?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. That's a great reason not to go to prison.
Well, there's many reasons why. Come on.
There's many, but yeah, that's.
But I mean, think about it. That environment's all about power, control, who has it, who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what rape is. So yeah. I could see why. That's why to this point, I mean, Shawshank Redemption is an amazing film, but I can't watch it.
Andy Dufresne. I know. So good.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to end this conversation.
I know.
We could
I'm
go
still
on,
kind of rocked by your story. My God.
Yeah, it was okay though.
No, sure, but I'm like, ugh, because again, it's a fear of mine, and I wonder my response, what it would be. I'm a person who is good under pressure, but at the same time, if there was an overpowering person or happened to me, you know what I mean? I'm tiny, so the hell?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's just bizarre.
No, it's not okay. But
I just didn't. It's just weird to not call the cops. It's just it's
in
part
many
of my
ways.
story. But yeah. Teach our kids. Know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I love you.
well, you guys, love you, and share with us anything you want to talk about with us or what you believe. Sexual consent, and it's such a icky, interesting topic, and a mucky is the word. Mucky topic.
Is good.
So whatever you guys want to share, open hearts and open minds, and yeah.
And if you just need to talk, again, that is a way of not bottling and just kind of releasing.
Yeah, don't let them have the power. Whoever was violating you. Yeah. All right. Well, raw talk, not food.